This program is sponsored in part by
Municipal Credit Union, serving the financial needs of our members since 1916. MCU, strong, trusted, growing.
Transit Check, saves money for commuters, lowers payroll taxes for businesses, and it's also good for the environment. With Transit Check, everyone benefits.
The Transit Managerial Benevolent Association, protecting the rights of non-represented, active, and retired managerial employees within the Metropolitan Transportation Authority. Mike Landy, President.
Whether it's a landmark or a nightlight, Con Edison knows everything that depends on power matters to someone, so everything matters to us. Con Edison, everything matters.
Transport Workers Union Local 100, representing the 35,000 men and women who move New York. We're New York's public transit union. John Samuelson, President.
And by the Patrolmen's Benevolent Association of the City of New York, fighting for the rights of the police officers who protect New York City. Patrick J. Lynch, President.
Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Transit News Magazine. This month we are on board the USS Intrepid Sea, Air and Space Museum, docked on the Hudson River right off 46th Street in Manhattan. I'm Pete Palomero.
Launched in 1943, the Intrepid saw service during World War II and Vietnam, and during the 1960s, NASA used it as a recovery ship for space capsules. I'm Ampisola Bulasan.
Today the Intrepid is a National Historic Landmark with all kinds of fun and educational exhibits for all.
But hold on, Pete. Before we go on tour on this mighty aircraft carrier on this month's show,
this may not be America's Got Talent, but New York sure has a lot of it. I'm Brandon Snively, and I've got that story.
let the sun shine in. I'm Stella and Sarah, and I've got that story. The Avenger is one of the oldest planes on board the Intrepid and saw service during World War II. It was also built on Long Island by the Grumman Company.
And speaking of Long Island history, Ampisil, guess who just had a birthday?
I don't know.
Well, the Long Island Railroad just turned 180 years young and is the nation's longest running railroad operating under its original name. Our own Mike Charles went out to join the celebration.
The MTA Long Island Railroad recently marked its 180th anniversary with a celebration at the Mineola station. Business and community leaders gathered to commemorate the railroad's long history of service to the region.
It was on this day 180 years ago that our charter was approved by the New York State Legislature. From the first original 2 tracks between Brooklyn and Jamaica, we now have more than 700 miles of track on 11 branches with 124 stations and terminals.
The Long Island Railroad is the nation's oldest railroad still operating under its original name.
The Long Island Railroad really started out as a New York to Boston railroad. They were going to carry travelers from the East River straight to Greenport, where they'd get on a steamer, cross the Sound, and pick up the train to Boston in Stonington, Connecticut. But direct service from New York to Boston straight along the Connecticut shoreline began a few years later in 1847. And that forced the LIRR to turn its sights on Long Island, not New England, to look toward nearly empty woods and farmland for what was to become the future of the railroad, of the island, of New York City itself. The line did a lot to promote Long Island in the early years, helped turn it into a vacation area, carried its produce to the big city, set up stations anywhere they thought home builders might someday be persuaded to settle. Thanks to the efforts of a guy named Alexander Stewart, even before Teddy Roosevelt, commuters were already starting to move to the island. He built Garden City, the first planned community in the entire United States.
He built houses, he built the hotel, waterworks, everything that a village would need. And to cap it all, he built a railroad, the Central Railroad of Long Island, as he called it, and which is now, of course, part of the Long Island Railroad of today.
They retired the last steam engine in October of 1955, and the Long Island went 100% diesel and electric. I was there, and I remember it felt like a day when you had one foot in the splendid past and the other in a bright future. But they knew what they were doing. The company had started running electric trains in 1905, which made them real pioneers in that field. But what really put Long Island on the map was the LIRR hammering its tracks through the bedrock under the East River. And by 1910, you could ride all the way from Montauk straight to Penn Station.
In 2013, the Long Island Railroad carried 83.4 million customers, making it the busiest commuter rail line in the country. With increasing ridership, the future is looking bright for the LIRR.
And really, I mean, just if you think about history for a second, 180 years is a tremendous feat. And if you think about the development of Long Island, the way people decided to live, where people decided to live, how they decided to live and develop in communities around our region, it's really due in large part to the Long Island Railroad. And I say that to emphasize that the Long Island Railroad is a tremendous part of our past, it's a tremendous part of our present, but it's also a tremendous part of our future.
I see Long Island as more integrated. I see the railroad as a component part of that. And I'm talking about reverse commuting, people from Queens, Nassau, rather commuting to Suffolk, go back and forth to jobs in Suffolk, in Nassau. It'd be great from Queens to be able not to just have a job in Manhattan, but you have opportunities also in Nassau or Eastern Queens. And the railroad, I think, could be an integral part of that.
The Long Island Railroad moves about 300,000 customers daily. With these numbers growing, Long Island Railroad has undertaken a major new project to shorten the commute for riders with the East Side Access Program.
As our chairman, Tom Prendergast, said, once East Side Access opens, we're going to say, how could we have lived without it? And I think we may be saying that now as we see there's no capacity at Penn Station, and we need that capacity.
The Long Island Railroad could not have lasted 180 years without the hard work and dedication of the more than 6,000 employees who aim to provide a safe and smooth ride every day.
Happy birthday to the people of the Long Island Railroad, because those people that run it, work it every day, are what makes it what it is today, which is a great railroad that gets people safely and on time to wherever their destination is.
I'm Mike Charles reporting for Transit News.
This capsule is a replica of America's Gemini space program that completed many successful missions during the 1960s. Pete, I can't believe 2 people sat in this small compartment for days.
It's incredible when you think about it. And the capsule may be small, but it took a whole lot of energy to get it into space. And if we wish to go further, new sources of energy must be found. And back here on Earth, our reporter Stella and Sarah looked into how the MTA is using solar power.
In the ongoing effort to reduce its carbon footprint, the MTA is testing a fully solar-powered kiosk that will give riders some valuable information.
The solar-powered kiosk that you're looking at is a great mashup of renewable energy from the sun and real-time information from bus time and real-time information from subway time. So if you're a customer who uses Metro North, but you also use a subway or a bus in this area, you've got real-time information about making that connection, which helps people.
During the evaluation process, the MTA put 2 of the kiosks at the Woodlawn station, and so far they've performed as expected, even under the most severe conditions.
New York has usually 4 seasons, maybe spring is a little short, and we're actually quite encouraged that these 2 solar-powered kiosks did quite well during the winter. And as you know, on days that there isn't sufficient sunlight to have the sun power the kiosk, it has a battery, and the battery can last for 10 days, and the batteries have been performing well.
And the science behind it is very simple.
We have solar panels and those solar panels use the energy of the sun to power the information screens you see for the real-time information about buses and subways near this Metro North station here in the Bronx.
Customers may not care how they work. They're just glad the kiosks are there.
It took a long time to come, but it's wonderful now that it's here. It's excellent. And it helps me learn when the trains are coming and the bus, better than looking up, on an iPod or something. So I like it very much.
It's better than looking online if you don't have a phone, if you don't have Wi-Fi, if you don't want to waste your money on that. You can also, come here and go, hey, look, there's the times, and you don't have to worry about being late, and if it's on time, it'd be great.
Earth-friendly kiosks provide real-time estimates for trains, subways, and buses. I'm Stella and Sarah reporting for Transit News.
Hi, I'm Crystal Caloris. We are here at the Intrepid Sea, Air, and Space Museum. I am here with John Lyon. So, John, tell us about the Intrepid Museum.
It's a historic World War II aircraft carrier that saw combat. It's actually a World War II battlefield. It's a national historic landmark. It has a collection of aircraft. We have a Cold War submarine that carried nuclear weapons. We have the world's fastest airliner Concorde, and we have two spaceships, a space shuttle and a Russian Soyuz capsule. When people come here, they like to come up onto the flight deck first of all, look at the aircraft collection. On the front of the flight deck, which people see as they're driving by, is a Blackbird, world's fastest piloted jet plane. We have an F-14 Tomcat up here, the airplane that starred in the movie Top Gun. We have an F-16.
So tell us about your Space Shuttle Pavilion.
We're loaned Space Shuttle Enterprise by NASA and built this building specially for it. Fleet Week is our busiest week of the year. The U.S. Navy comes in. We'll have two Navy ships positioned just north of us at Pier 92. There are military exhibits by the United States Armed Forces on our pier. We have all sorts of activities for families and children. Inside the Intrepid is a huge space called Hangar Deck, which is where planes used to be stored. And 1/3 of that space is devoted to kids' activities. There are interactive aircraft and helicopter cockpits they can climb inside.
What is the best way of getting here?
If you're coming to Intrepid from Times Square or from the Port Authority building, the M42 bus brings you right down to 12th Avenue, and from there it's about a very short 3-block walk.
Hello everyone, I'm Leon T. Goodman, and this is the Transit News Desk. Last month, an F train derailed in Queens, which affected the commute of thousands of MTA riders. Jesse Mislavsky was at the scene.
6 of the 8 train cars of a Manhattan-bound F train, carrying around 1,000 customers, derailed along the Queens Boulevard corridor, and the cause of the accident is under investigation. FDNY and NYPD worked tirelessly on scene, and thanks to them, all passengers were evacuated within 2 hours with only 19 injuries.
I suffer from phobia, so every fireman had to hold me, and I almost caught a panic attack. I am shaky. I cannot even talk.
They got me out a side door, onto the tracks, down a ladder, up a ladder on the other side with a little help, and then up the steep stairs that came out that hole in the ground over there. They were real good.
MTA officials and first responders held a press conference near the derailment site.
Evacuation very smoothly, exceptional collaboration on the part of the police department with the MTA and the FDNY.
Focus initially was on taking care of all the injured and aided, getting them off the trains, and the fire department, the police department did an excellent job of that. Then to get power restored to get the other train back into the station, that was done. And so now we're going to focus on investigating the incident.
While the express track was out of service in Queens for 3 days, local service for the F and E trains was quickly restored so that customers could still commute with ease.
Thanks to the efforts of New York City Transit and first responders, there were no fatalities here in Queens. I'm Jesse Mislavsky reporting for Transit News.
In other news, the Bronx has reason to celebrate. After months of construction, several stations along the Pelham line have reopened, much to the delight of our passengers. We sent our reporter Mark Gross up to the Bronx for the ribbon-cutting ceremony.
We're assembled here today to celebrate the reopening of Castle Hill Avenue and Middletown Road on the Pelham Line number 6 stations after a 7-month renewal
project. Both Castle Hill and Middletown Road were first opened in 1920. Their condition had deteriorated and they were in great need of repair.
And with that, the ribbon was cut on the newly renovated station that Bronx commuters had been looking forward to for 7 months. The Castle Hill station was part of a $109 million project that also included Zariga Avenue, Buer Avenue, and the Pelham Bay Park Station.
The scope of work basically consisted of rebuilding the roof of this building, which is the through-span girders area, what we call, and the track work, the third rail power, and also the concrete of these roofs. And also we removed the beams and floors and replaced them completely. We rebuilt the mezzanine, complete new stairs, street stairs, platform stairs. On the platforms, we did the new platform rubbing board edges, tactile tiles, the window screens, the guardrails, and raised the platform for ADA boarding areas.
And customers couldn't be happier to have their station back and better than ever.
Before it was bad. Yeah, stairs, everything, you know. Now it's, I'd say about 90% better.
Continue fixing them up because throughout the years it gets rusty, you know, it gets weak, and it's good that they just keep renewing it, you know what I'm saying?
By improving these stations in the Bronx, the MTA made a commitment to this neighborhood, a commitment to commuters, and a commitment to improving nonstop. I'm Mark Gross reporting for Transit News.
TWU Local 100 and New York City Transit came together to honor the memory of bus operator William Pena. A break room in the Michael J. Quill Depot was dedicated in his name. Our reporter, Opal Vadam, was there for the ceremony.
On April 30th, friends, family, TWU Local 100, and MTA officials gathered at the Michael J. Quill Depot to honor bus operator William Pena by dedicating the swing room in his memory. William Pena was killed on February 12th when a stolen box truck collided with his M14 bus at the corner of 14th Street and 7th Avenue in Manhattan.
This was Willie's swing room. And as you can see down there, that was Willie's table. That's where he sat. That's where he had his coffee in the morning. That's where he unwinded before he took that bus out on the road to face the day's challenge. And driving a bus in New York City is a challenge. It's a challenge beyond what anybody realizes.
A 17-year veteran of MTA New York City Transit, William is remembered as a hard worker and loved by many.
Oh, William was a long-term. We didn't consider William a rookie. He was a seasoned bus operator. I remember meeting him first when I was the chief at Hudson Pier Depot. He was a reliable employee, someone you can count on and tell the clock by. So he was really what we would consider in a bus reel a solid citizen.
I had the honor of working with Willie. Great guy, always talking, always joking, always jovial, and it was a great loss to me and to all our fellow brothers and sisters here at the union.
We've experienced the tragic loss of one of our fellow colleagues, someone who was loved by the organization. Obviously, as you look around this room today, you could see the impact that he's had on people. And, you know, from my perspective, this is about not letting his memory, you know, go away. We have to keep it alive, and we all have to, you know, be thoughtful of William and his family as we go forward.
People can help out by visiting www.williampena.org. And
the more support we have is not just fighting for William, it's fighting for all the MTA bus drivers.
This break room is dedicated to William Pena so that when they're on break, his colleagues can reflect on his life. I'm Opal Vadan reporting for Transit News.
That's it for this edition of the Transit News Desk. I'm Leon T. Goodman. Now back to the show.
The newest addition to the museum is the Space Shuttle Pavilion and its centerpiece, the Enterprise. This prototype led the way for NASA's Space Shuttle program. Now, surrounding the shuttle are several exhibits and artifacts that are truly out of this world.
And talk about trips out of this world. Metro North Railroad has some getaways right here on Earth. We sent our reporter Itzolo Dimorica to check out some cool destinations that you won't want to miss. Here's that story.
In order to find some of the hottest summer getaways in New York City, the Hudson Valley, Connecticut, and beyond, Metro North hosted the Staycation Showcase at Grand Central Terminal.
The Metro North Staycation Showcase is Getaway Day. It's our annual event, and it's designed to just showcase all that there is to do and see around the Hudson Valley, Connecticut, New York City, and beyond.
This year's showcase appealed to history buffs with live performances and varied exhibits and displays. Reenactors in full field regalia helped promote the Path Through History weekends.
To highlight the 13 different cultural, historical regions in New York State. There are 10 different regions that are promoting some of the various things like arts and culture, Fort Ticonderoga, the War of 1812. We have Baseball Hall of Fame, which falls under sports history.
In the 75th anniversary year, the National Baseball Hall of Fame is going to celebrate the legacy of Babe Ruth, opening the Babe Ruth exhibit on June 13th as part of our Path Through History. And then the last weekend of July is Hall of Fame weekend, in which we're honoring the newest members of the Baseball Hall of Fame family, including legendary New York Yankees manager Joe Torre, who will be inducted on Sunday, July 27th.
The Staycation Showcase featured a tasting and sampling of the bounty of the Hudson Valley, live music presented by MTA Music Under New York, and getaway prize drawings from Metro North.
The Staycation Showcase is a showcase for getaway partners to showcase their venue and see what it's all about. So when customers go to the venue, they kind of know where they're going and what's fun and what's going on at the event. We have hotel getaway packages. We have family 4-packs to the Wax Museum, to Ride Playland, Botanical Garden. We have gift baskets from Empire City Casino.
And those who visited the kiosks came away impressed.
You get to see a little piece of New York, different areas. I'm here to see the Babe Ruth Museum, or Babe Ruth plaque.
It's giving me a chance to branch out to other opportunities that's available for me here in New York City. I'm excited about it.
As you can see, there's no shortage of fun things to do this summer. So come along for the ride. Pack your bags and buy a ticket on Metro North. I'm Italo Demodica for Transit News.
In 1976, the Concorde started transatlantic service as the only supersonic passenger plane in the world with a top speed of 1,300 miles per hour. And interestingly enough, this plane is also part of music history. During Live Aid in 1985, Phil Collins flew on the Concorde so he could perform on 2 different continents for the same concert. Pete, how cool is that?
Very. Wish I was at that concert. And MTA Arts for Transit also makes music history every year with a new group of musicians who come out to audition for Music Under New York. We sent our reporter Brandon Snively to check out some rising stars and some pretty cool tunes.
A variety of music talents gathered at Grand Central Terminal for the 27th annual Music Under New York auditions for a chance to perform in the transit system.
We are so excited to be here for the 27th annual Music Under New York auditions. We have 60 different musicians who have come to play their hearts out here in Grand Central Terminal, which is this temple of transportation. And today we're going to be listening to a range of music, all different kinds of variety of music, and people who've come from all over the world to perform, to be part of our program.
Crazy outfits, unique instruments, and creative personalities kept judges and spectators entertained.
Well, I can't say it wasn't nerve-wracking, but it was also really beautiful and powerful experience for me because as an artist, you're always looking for opportunities to allow your creativity to shine for other people. And I'm very excited to audition for Music Under New York, and I'm just super thankful that I had the opportunity to do my own creative thing for all these people today. It was great, a lot of fun.
From hip-hop fusion to American roots music, artists were excited to play in front of the crowd at Grand Central Terminal.
It's a lot of fun. There's so much, there's so much movement going along here, so it's easy just to join in the energy and the fun of just this space.
Different from playing in the train stations, though, like on the platforms. It's so big and echoey, but
it's exciting to play in like a room this size, you know.
With over 60 acts that auditioned, catching the attention of the judges was the main goal of the performers.
The judges today are listening for three different things. First, we listened to quality of musicianship. Second, we listened to variety. We were looking for a really wide variety of different kinds of music to represent the diversity that is New York. And last, we looked for something that's a little amorphous called the appropriateness for the subway environment. And that really means that a marching band, for example, which might be really wonderful, might not be appropriate to play in the subway. But something like a stringed instrument or a small ensemble might be more appropriate for our environment.
All the musicians agreed that the ultimate goal is to entertain and enlighten the riders who commute daily through the transit system.
In terms of where we normally play, like, you know, parks and single train platforms, those hot spots where you get a lot of traffic from all the trains, it's just, I think it would be great to have like more people that we could touch every day and that could enjoy our music and that we could share with every day.
With musical talent so unique, who knew it would be beneath your feet? I'm Brandon Snively, reporting for Transit News.
What a great time we had on board the Intrepid Sea, Air, and Space Museum. And joining us now are some sailors here in New York for Fleet Week. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
How's New York treating you?
Wonderful. The fabulous people in New York City have opened their arms to us, and we're having a great time. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, it's good to have you. And yourself?
I'm having a blast. Didn't get to come last year, but I'm glad to be back this year.
Well, welcome to New York. And to all the sailors out there, thank you for your service. We salute you.
Indeed. And now that summer is finally upon us, come on out and enjoy this piece of living history right here in Manhattan. Don't forget those walking shoes. There is a whole lot to see and do.
Well, that just about wraps up this month's show. If you have any questions, comments, or story ideas, we want to hear from you. Please email us at transitnews@nyct.com. And don't forget, you can get here by using New York City Transit. I'm Amphisola Bulasan. Thanks so much for watching.
And I'm Pete Palomero. Thanks for riding. Empy, can we please make one more stop? I just got to check out the USS Growler submarine.
Let's go.
This program is sponsored in part by
Municipal Credit Union, serving the financial needs of our members since 1916. MCU, strong, trusted, growing.
Transit Check, saves money for commuters, lowers payroll taxes for businesses, and it's also good for the environment. With Transit Check, everyone benefits.
The Transit Managerial Benevolent Association, protecting the rights of non-represented, active, and retired managerial employees within the Metropolitan Transportation Authority. Mike Landy, President.
Whether it's a landmark or a nightlight, Con Edison knows everything that depends on power matters to someone, so everything matters to us. Con Edison, everything matters.
Transport Workers Union Local 100, representing the 35,000 men and women who move New York. We're New York's public transit union. John Samuelson, President.
And by the Patrolmen's Benevolent Association of the City of New York, fighting for the rights of the police officers who protect New York City. Patrick J. Lynch, President.